Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So on my previous video, I was doing a question paper of grade 8 2016 June exam. So let's continue. But please don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel, like the video and share the video. So let's continue. Okay. So now we are doing question 5. So question 5 says simplify the following. Okay. So we are doing question 5. Okay, so they say we should simplify. We have 5.1. So 5.1, it says x squared dot means multiply. When we do mathematics, multiply by 2x to the exponent 3, multiply by 5 to the exponent negative to the exponent 4. Okay, so I should simplify. So you can see here we have x, we have x, we have x. This tells us that we have the same base. Okay, so now I'm about to tell you the law of exponent. When we multiply the same base, we add the exponents. So here is the same as 1. It's the same as 1x, remember. So 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. 2 multiplied by 5, it's 10. So we have 10x. Now I will have to add this exponent. So it will be 2 plus 3 plus 4. Okay. So our answer is 10x to the exponent 2 plus 3, it's 5. Plus 4, it's 9. So our answer is 10x to the exponent 9. Okay, so this is our final answer. It's 2 marks. You'll get a mark here, you'll get a mark here. Okay, so now let's do 5.2. Always show your calculations. Always. It's very, very important. Show all your calculations. Okay, so the next question says, okay, we have 2 brackets. The first bracket is 2a square multiplied by 3ab square. Then we have a second bracket which is negative 3a square b close brackets 2. So when you have a question like this, these 2 affect everything that is inside the bracket, but this 2, it's only for b. Okay, so you should be careful when you answer this question. The recent one, it was the previous one, it was 2 marks. This one is 4 marks. Okay, so let's do it. So the first step, I'll have to say, okay, let me break this one down, because here it will be, okay, let's take everything step by step. Okay, so right, okay, so here we have 2 multiplied by 3, which is 6. So it's 6a square multiplied by a. When we multiply the same base, we add the exponent. Okay, So here we'll have 2 plus 1, which is a to the exponent 3. Okay, and here we don't have b, but here we have b, so we'll leave b like this. Okay, so for our second bracket, remember now we have to the exponent 2 here. Okay, so we'll say negative 3 to the exponent 2 is how much? Remember, it's negative 3. So to be safe, put it in brackets and say negative 3 square. You see, it's positive 9, the answer. Okay, so here you will write 9. And a, remember I said these two affect everything that is inside the bracket, but here we'll have to multiply because it is outside the bracket. We don't add, we only add when we have the same basis, but here we have exponents, so we'll say 2 multiplied by 2, which is 4. So it's a to the exponent 4. Okay, this is a to the exponent 4, and b is the same as 1, so it's 1 multiplied by 2, which is b square. Okay, or b to the exponent 2. Okay, so yeah, let's move. So that was our first step. Now it's time to break the brackets. Okay, so when you break the brackets, we'll say, okay, let's look at the numbers first. So we'll say 6 multiplied by 9. Then you'll go to your calculator and say 6 multiplied by 9. It's 54, you see. So we'll write 54. A to the exponent 3 multiply by a to the exponent 4. You see, now we have the same basis. We multiply the same basis. What will happen to the exponent? We will add the exponents. Okay? We will add the exponents. So here we have 3, here we have 2. So our a will be 3 plus 4, which is 7. And b we have to the exponent 2 and to the exponent 2, which means our b will be to the exponent 4. So this is our final answer. Okay, so just make sure that you calculate very well and you substitute very well. So this is our final answer. So it's 4 marks. It's 4 marks. So you'll get a mark for this substitution, maybe 2 here, 2 here, or maybe 1, 2, 3 plus 1 here, but it's 4 marks. Okay, so we have another question on question 5, which is 5.3. okay, so 5.3 says, okay, before I can do 5.3, here is a remainder. Sorry, I'm doing sessions, I'm tutoring, I'm a tutor. So I do WhatsApp lessons and I also do house calls. I'm based in Northwest. So if you're around South Africa and maybe you are at Cape Town, Free State, Mpumalanga, any place, but you are very far, we can work on WhatsApp. My services are the best. Even on WhatsApp, they also work. Student catch. I make sure every tutor that I work with understand very well. We don't move on before. Actually, you should understand before we move on. And on WhatsApp, I have 2 options. Okay, so I do WhatsApp lessons. The first option is when I'm teaching you, I'm taking a picture then I record. When I record, I explain everything what's on the picture, okay? And when it comes to mathematics, I write everything step by step so that every tutor out there will understand, or every tutor that I'm working with should understand, okay? So I make sure you should understand everything, and I have so many methods that I use. I'll start with any methods. If you don't understand, I change my method. I actually make sure at the end of the day you understand, okay? So yeah, so on the description below, I'll put my phone number below there, my phone number for WhatsApp. So if you go to my WhatsApp profile, you will see a catalog. On that catalog, it have prices and number of sessions and duration of a session and subjects, but subjects will also be shown on the description below, okay? So I do WhatsApp lessons. So if you really need lessons or you want us to work, hit me up on WhatsApp. So for prices and everything, you'll see them all on my WhatsApp catalog. And if you don't understand anything about the prices and duration or something related to that, hit me up. Hit me up. I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you and we'll communicate. Actually, we'll take it from there. Okay. So let's continue. So now I'm doing 5.3. Okay. And thanks for your time for listening to me. And yeah, let's work, guys. You'll see progress. And one thing is, you'll see progress from day one. Okay, you'll see progress from day one. Okay, so always make sure that every tutor out there really understand. Like I provide a quality work. Okay, so let's continue. So number 3, I have okay, I have a bracket 5 p to the exponent 3 close bracket, another bracket p to the exponent 4 q to the exponent 3 close brackets, all of them to the exponent 2. So this 2 will affect this bracket, everything that is inside here, okay? So this is all over 10pq to the exponent 3, 10pq to the exponent 3, okay? So first step, like I said, these 2 will affect everything that is inside the bracket. So this question is 4 marks. So this one, we'll write it the way as it is, okay? And this one will be 4 multiplied by 2 is p to the exponent 8, okay? 3 cube, 3 to the exponent, q to the exponent 3. So we'll say 3 multiplied by 2, it's 6. So here we have q6, okay? All over 10pq to the exponent 3, okay? So on our denominator, this to the exponent 3 is for q only, okay? So now it's time to break the brackets on numerator. Remember, numerator is this one, denominator is this one, okay? So okay, now we have to break the bracket. So here we don't have a number, but here we have 5. So it's like 5 multiplied by 1, which is 5. Now I won't write my brackets because it's time to break them, okay? So here I have p to the exponent 3, and here I have p to the exponent 4, 8, okay? So I'll say, remember now I'm multiplying these two. Okay, so I'll say, okay, since I multiply the same base, I will add the exponents. So it will be 3 plus 8, which is 11. So here I have p to the exponent 11, and here I don't have q, so here we'll have q to the exponent 6 all over 10 pq to the exponent 3. Okay, now I'm about to introduce another law. So when we divide the same base, we subtract the exponents. That's another law of exponents. Grade 8, listen. Grade 9s, you should also know this if you're listening. Okay, so if we divide the same base, we subtract the exponents. But if we multiply the same base, we add the exponents. That's very, very important. Okay, so but here, okay, let me expand it. Okay, so here I'll say, okay, here it's 10, here it's 5, here it's 10. So I'll say 10 divided by 5 divided by 10. Okay, now I'm showing you my steps, and here I will have p11. Remember, here it's only p, so it's the same as to the exponent 1. So it will be 11 minus 1. You see, and here I will have q. After this p, I will have q 6 minus 3. So now it's time to write the final answer. So 5 divided by 10, it's 1 over 2, right? You can check it on your calculator. It's 1 over 2, right? But here we have 2 5. Like we have let me say, 5 plus 5 is 10, right? So on our denominator, we will remain with 2 because 5 goes 2 times on 10. Yeah, let me put it in that way. Okay, so but here we have 11 minus 1, which is 10. So here we'll have p to the exponent 10. Why do I put it on numerator, not denominator? Because it gives us a positive answer. If it was a negative answer here, it was going to be on our denominator. Okay, so here we have q 6 to the 6 minus 3. It's 3. So here we have q to the exponent 3. Okay, so this is our final answer. So be careful when you substitute, and make sure you substitute very, very well, because one mistake, everything will be wrong. Okay, so don't leave such marks. Eat all of them. If it's 4 marks, take it. While you're leaving it, okay, take the whole marks. Okay, so let's move. So let's do question 6 right now. Let's do question 6. So question 6 says, consider the number patterns below and then answer the questions that follows. It's number pattern right now. So we have a number pattern. Remember, this one is question 6. Okay, remember, it's June 2020, 2016. Sorry, it's 2016. Is it blur? I think the focus is gone. Let me see. Is it clear? Yeah, now it's visible. Okay, so let's do question 6. So like I read the first statement that we should consider the number patterns below, and the number pattern is 11, 16, 21, and they show this dots to show you that it continues, so 6.1, it says, what are the next two terms? So before we can answer this one, you should read your pattern. Okay, so here we can see, if remember here it's T1, T2, T3. When I say T, I say it's T number, term number 1, term number 1, term number 2. Okay, so if I say term number 2 minus term number 1, it's 5, you see. And if I say term number 3 minus term number 2 is 5, which means we have a common difference. Okay, so which means if I should add 5 to get here, and I add 5 to get here, which means I will also have to add 5 to get the next term, which is 26. So 26 is our next term, but the question says next two terms, so which means even from 26, I'll say 26 plus 5, which is 31. So these are my next two terms. Okay, so you should listen to the question. They said two terms, so write only two. Don't write one, don't write three terms. Okay, write only two terms, actually specifically the next two terms. Okay, so we have to do 6.2 right now. So 6.2 says, give the general formula in the form Tn, in this form, you see. So for us to get this one right, we should use a formula. Okay, so I'll teach you this formula for our sequence. So this formula is like this. So A is for first term, N is for number of terms, and D is for the difference. Okay, and a difference, we get it when we say T2 minus T1. Okay, or a T3 minus T2 should give us the same answer when we say they are common. Okay, so I'm about to answer the question. So okay, here I was explaining this part. I was explaining our formula. So I will have to say, okay, I said we should use this formula. First term, our first term from that sequence, it's 11. You see, so where I see A, here I'll say Tn is equals to our A, it's 11. Here I'll write n minus 1, and our difference is 5. Remember, because if I say 16 minus 11, it's 5. So our difference is 5. Okay, so here I have 11. Okay, but here I will say 5 multiplied by 5n, it's positive 5n. Here I will say 5 multiplied by negative 5, which is negative 5. So now I have to write it in standard form, which means I should start with this one. Okay, so I'll say 5n. Now I'll say 11 minus 5. Okay, now you take your calculator and say 11 minus 5, which is 6. So we have plus 6 here. So this is our general term in terms of Tn, like the question says. Okay, so but you can test it by saying, okay, for T number 1, where I see n, I substitute 1, then here I will see plus 6. It gives me 11. If I substitute 2, it gives me term number 2, which is 16. If I substitute 3, gives me 21, and that's the sequence that we are given. Okay, so this is our general term. This is our general term. So general term is very, very important, because if you get wrong on this question, you'll get wrong on the following questions. Okay, so because we will use this general term. Okay, so 6.3, 6.3, it says, what is the value of the 120th term? 120th term of that sequence. That sequence of 11, 16, 21. We are still in the same question. Okay, so when you are told that you should calculate the 120th term, actually any term, that means you should take that number as n. So here we'll take our n as 120. Okay, so remember, now I'm looking for the value of 120th term. So where I see n, so I'll use this. Let me write it here again, so that you can see when I substitute. You see, so I will say, okay, where I see n, I write 120. So here it will be 125. Here 120 plus 6. You see, now I say 320 because it's term 120, right? So I'll have to take my calculator and say, okay, p, I open bracket, 120 plus 6. So it's 606. You see, so our term 120 for that sequence is 606. So that's our final answer. So yeah, that's it. So the next question says, what term is equal to 241? So when you get this type of a question, actually when they ask and say which term, what term or which term, which means we should calculate for n. Okay, so let's continue. So I said the question says, what term is equal to 271? Okay, so this is 6.4. So we are looking for the term that is equal to 271. And I said, when you are given this question, you should calculate for n. Okay, so we don't know the value of our n, but we will use our general formula. Okay, so our general formula is Tn is equals to 5n plus 6. Remember, okay, so where I see Tn, I will substitute 271. So I'll say 271 is equals to 5n plus 6. So the goal is to find the value of n, because they want the number which term is equal to 241. Okay, so I will take 6 to the opposite side. So I'll take 6 this side. So here I will be left with 5n. But let me put my 5n on the left hand side. Okay, because normally in maths you should have an unknown on the left hand side. Okay, so if I take 6 to the opposite, it was positive, so it will be negative. So it's 271 minus 6. So here I have 5n. Okay, so from here you can take your calculator and say, okay, now I'll say 271 minus, it's a minus, right? Minus 6 is 265. So I'll say 265, divide both sides by 5. So if I divide both sides by 5, here I'll be left with n. So from 265, I'll say 265 divided by 5, which is 53. So my answer is 53. So this tells us that term number 53 is equals to 241. Okay, so that question was 3 marks. So you should collect marks from these questions. It's not that difficult What's important is to be careful and to know how the formula works. When you are looking for what term you should calculate for n, because the examiner, once they calculate n, they will say what term is equal to this and that. So, but you should know that we are calculating for n, because n means the number of terms for number patterns. Okay, so I hope you all understand, and if you don't understand, hit me up or comment below, or yeah, comment below. But if you need lessons, like I said, text me on WhatsApp. I'll take it from there. Okay, so I do lessons. We can work every day, no problem, but we'll have to set times, if we say, if we agree on 6 o'clock, we'll do it on 6 o'clock. If we agree on 3 o'clock, we'll do it at 3 o'clock. Okay, so let's continue. So question 7 says, consider the expression below and answer the questions that follows. So right now, let me write this expression. So it's question 7. So for my questions, I just write Q7. Okay, but on your book you can write question 7 in full. That's fine. And when you write exam, write question in full. Okay, like write question 7, not Q7. So okay, now let me write my expression. That expression which is 9. Not my expression, their expression. Okay. So here it will be 9 plus 3x squared minus 4x cubed minus 4x. Okay, so 7.1, it says rewrite the expression in descending order. Okay, so when we write this in descending order, remember, is from high to low, the biggest to the smallest. Okay, so but here we have expressions, which means here I will have to start with this one. Okay, but the signs also matter, so I can't just start by writing 4x cube. I'll have to say minus 4x cube, because here it is minus. Okay, this is not just 4, so here I'll say 4x cube, you see, and here I have x squared, here just x, which means I have to start with this one, plus 3x cube, you see. Now I can write this one, and it is negative 4x, and here we didn't have a negative sign, so it will be plus. Do you understand? So in this case, I wrote this expression in the standard form. It is in a standard form like this. It is in a standard form. So, and it is really important to know this. It is really important, because even when you do grade 9, grade 10, up to 12, they will give you an expression, sometimes not in a standard form, but you have to write it in a standard form so that you can substitute well or answer your questions well, because it is easy when your expression is in a standard form, but this is 1 mark. Okay, so but it is very important to know. So here we have 7.2, and 7.2 says, how many terms are there in the expressions? So how many terms? This is our first term, this is our second term, this is our third term, this is our fourth term, which means we have 4 terms. Okay, how many terms are there in the expression? 4 terms. Yeah, but I think if you if you will write just 4, they'll give you a mark because they want the number. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's very easy, but you should know some didn't know until I explain. Okay, so the third one says, what is the coefficient of x squared? So you'll look at your expression. Oh, the one for x squared is this one, which means my coefficient is this one. Okay, remember the coefficient is what is in front of that x squared. Okay, so it's 3. So our coefficient is 3. Okay, so 7.4, it says determine the value of the expression if x is equals to negative 1. Okay, so let me check this one since I wrote it in the standard form. So in this case, you should substitute negative 1 where you see x. So here I have 4x. Remember here I have x, so I'll have to substitute negative 1 where I see x. Okay, plus 3 where I see x, negative 1 square, minus where I see x. You see, so after you substitute it like this, you'll have to press it on your calculator exactly as it is. Okay, so you'll have to take your calculator and press negative. Remember, negative button. Okay, you'll have to press negative 4 where I see x, then I press this button. If you use a Casio, then I press, oh, this one will go for shift. Okay, press this one, so it will be this. You see, so it gives us permission to edit our exponent. Okay, so then I will say plus, okay, plus 3 where I see x, negative 1. I type it exactly as it is. You see, now I close my brackets and I press this button. You see, so minus 4 where I see x, I open the bracket, plus 9. So my final answer is 20. So our answer is 20. So but this question was 2 marks, so 1 mark for substitution and 1 mark for your final answer. So yeah, that's how you should do it. Okay, so now let's do question 8. Yes, now we are doing question 8. So I will start my question 8 here. Okay, but you should write question in full, like question 8, like I said. So question 8 says, write algebraic expression for the following. 8.1, the square root of the product of 4 and b. The square root of the product of 4 and b. So this question is word problem. Okay, so like I will repeat my statement so that you can hear. The square root of the product of 4 and b. Remember, a square root. Okay, I will answer the question below. Now I want to explain. When we are talking about a square root, we are talking about this. Okay, so if we say a square root of 25, it's 5. It's because 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, and square means 2. Or 5 square is equals to 25. You see, so on this question they say the square root of the product. So in mathematics, when we say the product, we multiply. We said multiply. So you should know this language of mathematics. So they said the square root of the product of A and B. So let me listen to the statement. The square root is this one, right? The square root of the product, which means I'll multiply 4 and B, which means I'll multiply 4 and B. Product multiply, or I should write it like this: multiply. You see, it's 4 multiplied by B, which is 4B. So this is the answer. This is your answer. So it's square root of 4B, because you can't leave it like this. But product tells you that you should multiply. Okay, so let me start while my question 8 and write the answer. Well, so here I was showing you how to get it so that you are not confused. Okay, so I said our 8.1 is 4B. Okay, so okay, let me take this part as my scribbler. This side I'll show you calculations, but for number 1 I already showed you. So for number 2 we'll write it after I showed you my steps, so that we don't make things complicated. So 8.2 says the sum of 3 times p and the square root of p. So when they say the sum, they mean plus, addition. And square root is this one. Okay, 3 times, which means 3 times. Remember, multiply also goes with this thing of times. Like if we say we have ap plus square root of q, you see. Okay, so yeah, like I said, product means the sum means plus, so that's why here it's addition. Okay, so yeah, let's leave that part. So let's do 8.3. 8.3 says the product of 4 times. Okay, so remember that it was 3 times, now it's 4 times a, which means we'll have 4a. Okay, and the difference between b and e, the difference mean subtraction. Okay, so below there you can say, okay, the difference means subtraction. Okay, but I bet some already knew. Okay, so, and when we say the product, which means we should multiply, so since then our difference is not a single number, it's it will be b minus 7, which means we should put it in brackets. So since this one is in brackets, we can also put this one in brackets. Okay, so yeah, that's how you should do it. And this one is 3 marks, this one is 3 marks, the first one is 2 marks, so it's 8 marks. So yeah, I'll do part 3. Now I did up until question 8. Up until question 8, and thank you for watching, and please subscribe on my YouTube channel, and don't forget to like, share to others. And like I said, I do lessons. If you want us to connect, check the description below. Thank you.